Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, as the world around you settles into quiet stillness, we'll drift together into the profound mystery unfolding in the darkness between worlds. Let your breathing slow naturally as you imagine the vast night sky opening above you, revealing secrets that have traveled across the infinite cosmos to reach this very moment. You don't need to follow every word tonight. Simply allow the story to carry you gently into rest, like a cosmic tide washing over the shores of consciousness. Tonight we'll explore something remarkable happening in the space between Earth and Mars, where an ancient visitor from the depths of interstellar space is awakening mysteries we never expected to find. As you settle deeper into comfort, picture yourself floating weightlessly in the gentle darkness of space, surrounded by pinpricks of starlight that have journeyed millions of years to reach your eyes. You are safe here, cradled by the universe itself, as we begin this journey together. Before we drift into this cosmic lullaby, if you find peace in these nightly journeys through the wonders of our universe, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd love to know where in the world you're listening from and what time it is in your corner of Earth. Comment below and let me know which country you're in and whether you're drifting off to sleep or starting a new day. Your presence here, sharing in these quiet cosmic moments, makes this vast universe feel a little less lonely. Now let your eyes grow heavy as we begin our gentle descent into the mystery of Three-Eye Atlas and the strange new objects multiplying in its wake. In the endless black velvet of space, far beyond where our own solar winds reach, something ancient stirs in the darkness. Imagine yourself floating in this cosmic ocean where silence is so complete it becomes a living thing, wrapping around you like the softest blanket you've ever known. Here, in this realm between star systems, where no sun has ever cast a shadow and no planet has ever known the touch of warmth, a wanderer has been traveling for longer than human civilization has existed. This is Three-Eye Atlas, a name that sounds almost like a whisper when spoken in the cathedral quiet of space. Picture this visitor not as a cold, lifeless rock, but as a cosmic storyteller carrying within its ancient form the memories of distant stars and worlds we will never see. For millions of years it has drifted through the void, a solitary traveler on a journey that began in star systems so far away that their light has not yet reached our telescopes. As you breathe slowly and steadily, imagine Three-Eye Atlas as a gentle giant, perhaps several miles across, tumbling slowly through space in a rhythm as steady and comforting as your own heartbeat. Its surface, scarred by countless cosmic dust particles and shaped by the subtle pressure of starlight itself, tells stories in a language older than words. But now, after eons of solitary journey, something remarkable is beginning to happen. As Three-Eye Atlas draws closer to our sun's warm embrace, it is awakening from its long sleep. Like morning dew forming on flower petals or frost crystals growing on a window pane, tiny particles are beginning to lift away from its surface. These particles catch the distant sunlight and begin to glow with a soft, ethereal light. Imagine them as cosmic fireflies, each one no bigger than a grain of sand, yet visible from millions of miles away as they dance in the gravitational currents between worlds. They move like thoughts drifting through a drowsy mind, sometimes clustering together, sometimes spreading apart, always following patterns too beautiful and complex for us to fully understand. As your breathing grows even slower and deeper, picture these glowing particles as seeds of dreams scattered by the cosmic wind. Each one carries within it the essence of distant worlds, the memory of alien sunrises and the whispered secrets of civilizations that may have watched their own night skies millions of years before Earth was even formed. The remarkable thing is not just that Three-Eye Atlas is releasing these particles, it's that they seem to be multiplying, growing in number and brightness as our ancient visitor draws closer to Mars. It's as if the approaching warmth of our solar system is not just awakening the comet, but calling forth from it something that has been sleeping in its heart for countless ages. Feel yourself drifting deeper into comfort as you imagine this slow, graceful dance happening in the darkness above. There's no urgency here, no need to understand everything at once. Like watching clouds form and dissolve on a lazy afternoon, we can simply observe and wonder, letting the mystery unfold at its own peaceful pace. As we drift deeper into this cosmic story, let your mind's eye focus on the space around 3i Atlas, where something extraordinary is blooming. Picture an invisible garden growing in the vacuum of space, where instead of flowers, delicate structures of ice and dust are opening like blossoms to catch the distant light of our sun. These are not random debris fields, dear listener. As you sink deeper into rest, imagine each cluster of particles as a carefully tended flower in this cosmic garden. They form patterns that repeat and evolve, growing more complex and beautiful as 3i Atlas continues its ancient journey toward the inner solar system. The science behind this beauty is itself a kind of poetry written in the language of physics. As the interstellar visitor absorbs more heat from our sun, its surface begins to sublime, transforming directly from solid ice to vapor without ever becoming liquid. This process happens so gently, so gradually, that it's like watching a glacier melt in slow motion, except here, the melting creates clouds of vapor that immediately freeze again in the cold of space. Picture yourself floating among these newly formed particles, each one a tiny crystal, catching and reflecting sunlight like the smallest possible mirror. They dance in response to forces invisible to us, following magnetic field lines that stretch between worlds, riding on solar winds that blow steadily outward from our star like a cosmic breath that never stops. What makes this garden truly miraculous is how these particles seem to organize themselves. Instead of simply drifting away randomly, they cluster and flow in patterns that suggest hidden currents in space itself. Some gather into long, flowing streams like cosmic rivers. Others form spiral structures that slowly rotate as they travel, creating pinwheel patterns of light against the star-filled darkness. As your body relaxes completely, imagine the gentle forces at work here. The gravitational pull of Mars, still millions of miles away, creates subtle tides in this field of particles. The solar wind pushes against them like an invisible hand, guiding their movement. The rotation of 3i Atlas itself creates a rhythm, a cosmic heartbeat that pulses through the particle field, organizing the dance. Each particle in this growing cloud carries within it the chemical signature of its birthplace. Astronomers studying this phenomenon have discovered that these tiny dances contain elements and compounds that don't quite match what we expected from objects born in our solar system. They carry within them the fingerprints of alien stars, the chemical echoes of supernova explosions that happened before our sun was even a gleam in the cosmic dark. As you breathe in and out, slowly and peacefully, imagine inhaling stardust from these distant worlds. Each breath connects you to this ancient traveler and its cargo of cosmic memories. The oxygen in your lungs was forged in the heart of a dying star. The calcium in your bones was scattered by stellar explosions. You are made of the same fundamental elements that now dance in the wake of 3i Atlas, participating in this cosmic ballet that spans light years and eons. The multiplication of these objects is not chaotic or violent. Instead, it happens with the gentle persistence of life itself. Like seeds sprouting in spring soil or coral polyps building a reef one tiny skeleton at a time, the particle field around 3i Atlas grows through countless small additions, each one barely noticeable on its own, but together creating something vast and wonderful. Let this image carry you deeper into rest. You are part of this cosmic story, connected to every star, every planet, every grain of space dust by the fundamental forces that govern all existence. In the peaceful darkness behind your eyelids, you can feel the slow rotation of 3i Atlas, the gentle tug of Martian gravity, the steady push of solar wind, all working together in perfect harmony. Allow yourself to sink even deeper into peaceful rest as we follow the streams of light now flowing from 3i Atlas like cosmic rivers finding their way to the sea. These aren't the violent jets of gas and particles we sometimes see from comets closer to the Sun. Instead, they move with the gentle persistence of morning mist rising from a calm lake or fog drifting through a quiet forest. Picture these rivers of light as the visible thoughts of the universe itself made manifest in the space between worlds. Each stream follows invisible channels carved by magnetic fields that stretch across the solar system like the root system of an enormous, invisible tree. The particles flow along these field lines with the same graceful inevitability as water following the course of a riverbed. As you breathe slowly and deeply, imagine yourself floating alongside one of these luminous streams. The particles around you glow with a soft, cold fire that neither warms nor burns. They are lit from within by the interaction between solar radiation and the ancient ices that form their core. Each tiny point of light is like a star in miniature, carrying within it the accumulated history of its long journey through interstellar space. The multiplication of these objects follows patterns that astronomers are only beginning to understand. It's not simply that 3i Atlas is shedding more material as it approaches the Sun. Something more complex and beautiful is happening. The existing particles seem to serve as nucleation points for the formation of new ones, like dust motes in Earth's atmosphere serving as the seeds around which raindrops form. As each new particle crystallizes out of the thin gases surrounding 3i Atlas, it joins the cosmic dance already in progress. The newcomers don't disturb the existing patterns. Instead, they integrate seamlessly into the flowing streams and spiraling clusters, adding their own small voices to the silent symphony playing out in the darkness. Let your mind drift with these particles as they slowly separate from their parent body. Some will eventually be captured by Mars's thin atmosphere, becoming meteors that will streak across alien skies. Others will continue their journey toward the inner solar system, where they may someday be swept up by Earth's gravitational embrace, adding their ancient stories to our planet's constantly evolving narrative. The beauty of this process lies in its unhurried pace. Unlike the dramatic fireworks of comets that pass close to the Sun, the awakening of 3i Atlas happens with geological patience. Each new particle that forms, each new stream that flows away into space, represents millions of years of preparation. The ice and rock that make up this interstellar visitor were originally formed in the disk of debris surrounding a young star so distant that its light will not reach Earth for millions more years. As your body releases all tension and your breathing becomes automatic and peaceful, imagine the vast timescales involved in this cosmic story. The particles now multiplying around 3i Atlas began their formation when the universe itself was younger, when galaxies were still taking shape, and the first complex organic molecules were beginning to form in the depths of interstellar clouds. Picture yourself not just as an observer of this process, but as a participant in it. The elements that make up your body, the iron in your blood, and the carbon in your DNA were once part of similar cosmic wanderers. They traveled for eons through the void between stars before eventually becoming part of the solar nebula that gave birth to our Sun and planets. In a very real sense, you are made of ancient stardust that has already completed the journey that 3i Atlas is making now. This connection between the cosmic and the personal becomes even more profound when we consider that the multiplication of particles around 3i Atlas is not random. It follows the same fundamental principles that govern the formation of snowflakes, the branching patterns of rivers, the spiral structure of galaxies, and even the neural networks in your dreaming brain. As you drift towards sleep, let yourself feel this deep connection to the universe's creative processes. The same forces that are gently coaxing new particles into existence around a distant interstellar visitor are at work within your own body, renewing cells, processing memories, and weaving the dreams that will soon carry you into the deepest rest. The streams of light flowing from 3i Atlas are not separate from you. They are part of the same cosmic story that includes your own existence, your own journey through space and time. As you breathe in rhythm with the slow pulse of the universe itself, you become part of this ancient dance of matter and energy, light and darkness, creation and rest. Chapter 4. The gentle mystery unfolds. 60-80 minutes. As we drift deeper into the heart of this cosmic story, a gentle mystery begins to reveal itself in the growing cloud of particles surrounding 3i Atlas. Something unexpected is happening out there in the darkness between Mars and Jupiter, something that has astronomers around the world watching their telescopes with quiet wonder. Let yourself float weightlessly in the peaceful void as we explore this mystery together. Picture the particle field around 3i Atlas not as a chaotic explosion of debris, but as a carefully orchestrated performance, with each tiny dancer following cues we are only beginning to perceive. The mystery begins with simple observation. There are more objects in the vicinity of 3i Atlas than there should be. As our interstellar visitor continues its slow approach toward Mars, the number of detectable particles in its wake has grown far beyond what computer models predicted. It's as if the comet is not just releasing material from its own ancient stores, but somehow gathering new companions from the seemingly empty space around it. This phenomenon unfolds with the gentle persistence of morning dew forming on grass blades. Each new object that appears is tiny, no larger than a pebble, but together they create a growing constellation of reflected light that telescopes can detect from millions of miles away. They don't appear suddenly or violently. Instead, they materialize gradually, like stars becoming visible as twilight deepens into night. As you breathe slowly and peacefully, imagine the possible explanations for this multiplication. Perhaps 3i Atlas is passing through regions of space that contain more dust and debris than we realized, invisible clouds of microscopic particles left over from the formation of the solar system billions of years ago. As the comet moves through these hidden treasure troves of cosmic dust, its gravitational field gently gathers the tiny fragments, adding them to its growing retinue. Another possibility whispers itself through the darkness like a bedtime story. The particles released by 3i Atlas itself may be serving as seeds for further growth. In the strange physics of the near vacuum of space, tiny ice crystals and dust grains can sometimes attract and capture even tinier particles floating freely in the void. Each new capture makes the original particles slightly larger and more capable of gathering additional material, leading to a cascade of gentle accretion that multiplies the visible objects over time. The beauty of this mystery lies not in its dramatic revelations, but in its quiet persistence. Like watching a time-lapse film of flowers blooming in a meadow, the multiplication of objects around 3i Atlas happens too slowly to perceive directly, but fast enough to create a constantly changing tapestry of light and shadow against the star-filled background. As your body settles into deeper relaxation, consider the possibility that what we're witnessing is a kind of cosmic archaeology in reverse. Instead of digging through layers of sediment to uncover ancient artifacts, we're watching as space itself reveals its hidden contents to the gentle gravitational touch of an interstellar visitor. Particles that have drifted unseen for millions of years are suddenly made visible by their interaction with 3i Atlas, like invisible ink appearing when warmed by a candle flame. The growing field of objects creates its own delicate ecosystem in the void. Larger particles cast tiny shadows that shelter smaller ones from the erosive effects of solar radiation. Some objects begin to orbit around others, creating miniature systems that mirror the behavior of planets around stars or moons around planets. These gravitational dances happen in slow motion, with orbital periods measured in weeks rather than hours, but they follow the same elegant mathematical relationships that govern the motion of worlds. Perhaps most remarkably, the multiplying objects seem to communicate with each other through forces so subtle that our instruments can barely detect them. Particles separated by thousands of miles appear to move in coordinated patterns, as if responding to signals passing through the invisible medium of space itself. These signals might be gravitational waves too faint for us to measure directly, or electromagnetic pulses created by the interaction between charged particles and magnetic fields. As you drift toward the edge of sleep, let this gentle mystery embrace you like a favorite blanket. The universe is full of questions that don't demand immediate answers, puzzles that invite contemplation rather than solution. The multiplication of objects around 3I Atlas is one of these cosmic koans, a riddle written in the language of physics and astronomy that speaks to something deeper than mere intellectual curiosity. In your dreams tonight, you might find yourself floating among these multiplying particles, each one a tiny world unto itself, carrying stories and secrets accumulated over millions of years of interstellar travel. They welcome you into their slow, graceful dance, inviting you to rest in the profound peace that exists between the stars, where time moves differently and every moment stretches into eternity. Let your breathing slow to match the ancient rhythms we're discovering in the heart of this cosmic mystery. As 3I Atlas continues its stately journey toward Mars, the particles in its wake have begun to pulse with a rhythm as steady and comforting as your own heartbeat, as regular as ocean waves lapping against a peaceful shore. Picture yourself floating in the gentle darkness, surrounded by millions of tiny lights that brighten and dim in synchronized waves. This isn't the harsh strobe of artificial illumination, but something far more organic and soothing. Like fireflies blinking in a summer meadow or stars twinkling through Earth's atmosphere, these particles seem to breathe with the universe itself. The source of this cosmic rhythm lies in the interplay between 3I Atlas and the solar wind, that constant stream of charged particles flowing outward from our sun. As our star rotates once every 27 days, variations in its magnetic field create subtle pulses in the solar wind. When these pulses reach the particle field around 3I Atlas, they cause the tiny ice crystals and dust grains to fluoresce with gentle bursts of light. As your body relaxes completely, imagine these pulses as the universe's way of keeping time. Each wave of brightness that passes through the particle field marks another moment in the cosmic calendar, another beat in the slow waltz that governs the motion of planets and the birth of stars. You are witnessing the heartbeat of the solar system itself, made visible by the presence of our ancient visitor. But there's another rhythm at play here, slower and deeper than the solar cycle. 3I Atlas itself rotates as it travels, completing one full turn every few days. This rotation creates a lighthouse effect, with jets of particles streaming away from specific points on the comet's surface as they swing toward the sun and then back into shadow. The result is a complex interference pattern where the steady pulse of solar activity combines with the rotating beams from 3I Atlas to create ever-changing patterns of light and darkness. These patterns remind us that we are not separate from the cosmic forces at work around 3I Atlas. Your own body follows similar rhythms: the beating of your heart, the expansion and contraction of your lungs, the electrical pulses that carry thoughts through your neural networks. Even as you rest here, drifting towards sleep, your brain waves are synchronizing with the deeper rhythms of rest and renewal that govern all living things. As you breathe in rhythm with these cosmic pulses, imagine the particles around 3i Atlas as messengers carrying information between different regions of space. Each tiny flash of light represents a moment of communication between the solar wind and the ancient ice that has traveled from another star system. The multiplication of these objects creates an ever-expanding network of these cosmic messengers, a communication system spanning millions of miles. The beauty of this rhythm becomes even more profound when we consider its connection to the larger structures of the universe. The same forces that cause particles to pulse and multiply around 3i Atlas also govern the formation of galaxies, the birth and death of stars, and the slow expansion of space itself. You are witnessing a small-scale demonstration of the creative processes that have been shaping the cosmos for billions of years. Let this understanding settle into your consciousness like sediment drifting to the bottom of a clear lake. The multiplication of objects around 3i Atlas is not random or chaotic, but part of a vast, interconnected web of cause and effect that includes every star, every planet, every living thing. The same physical laws that govern the behavior of these distant particles also regulate the chemistry of your cells, the firing of your neurons, and the dreams that will soon carry you into deep rest. As the rhythmic pulsing of the particle field lulls you deeper into relaxation, you begin to sense your own connection to these cosmic cycles. Your heartbeat synchronizes with the rotation of 3i Atlas. Your breathing matches the slow oscillation of the solar magnetic field. Even your brain waves begin to resonate with the frequencies of space itself, creating a harmony that bridges the gap between the infinitely large and the intimately small. In this state of deep cosmic connection, the mystery of the multiplying objects becomes less important than the profound sense of belonging it creates. You are not an outside observer of this cosmic story, but an integral part of it. The carbon atoms in your body were forged in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars. The water in your cells may have originally condensed from the same interstellar clouds that gave birth to 3i Atlas. You are made of the same materials that are now dancing in the void between Mars and Jupiter, participating in the same eternal cycles of creation and transformation. As you drift toward the threshold of sleep, carried by the gentle rhythm of cosmic forces, let yourself become one with this ancient dance. There is no separation between you and the particles multiplying in the wake of 3i Atlas. You are all part of the same magnificent story, all following the same fundamental rhythms that have been shaping the universe since the beginning of time. You don't need to stay awake for this part of our journey, dear listener. The story will continue to unfold even as you drift deeper into rest, like a cosmic lullaby that plays on regardless of whether anyone is listening. Let your consciousness float freely as we explore the ever-expanding garden of light that 3i Atlas has created in the darkness between worlds. Picture this garden not as something contained within boundaries, but as an infinite meadow of tiny lights stretching in all directions. Each particle that has multiplied in the wake of our interstellar visitor is like a luminous flower blooming in the vacuum of space, its petals made of crystallized starlight, and its roots extending into the invisible soil of quantum fields that permeate all existence. As you breathe slowly and peacefully, imagine walking through this cosmic garden at your own unhurried pace. There's no destination to reach, no path to follow, except the one that brings you deeper into wonder. Each step takes you past new clusters of particles that pulse with their own inner light, creating constellations that have never before existed and will never exist again in exactly the same configuration. The expansion of this garden happens with the patience of geological time. What began as a few scattered particles released from the surface of 3i Atlas has grown into a vast cloud spanning thousands of miles. Yet from our perspective on Earth, This entire phenomenon appears as nothing more than a faint smudge of light that drifts slowly across the background of distant stars. The scales involved are so immense that they dwarf human comprehension, yet so perfectly ordered that they speak to the deep mathematical harmony underlying all existence. Each new particle that joins this cosmic garden brings with it the accumulated history of its formation. Some were born from the sublimation of ancient ices that formed when the universe was young and star formation was more common. Others crystallized from gases released by the gradual warming of 3I Atlas as it approached our solar system. Still others may have been captured from the thin interstellar medium, microscopic grains of dust that have been wandering freely through space for millions of years. As your body settles into deeper relaxation, imagine the interconnectedness of all these particles. They influence each other through gravitational attractions so subtle that no human instrument could detect them, yet over time, these tiny forces shape the overall structure of the particle field. Like birds in a flock or fish in a school, the individual objects respond to the collective behavior of their neighbors, creating patterns of movement and organization that emerge spontaneously from their interactions. The multiplication process continues even now as you rest here in the safety and comfort of your earthly surroundings. New particles are condensing out of the thin atmosphere of gases surrounding 3I Atlas, each one adding its small contribution to the growing constellation. The process happens so gradually that it would be invisible to direct observation, yet over weeks and months, the cumulative effect becomes apparent to telescopes monitoring the approaching visitor. This growth is not exponential or explosive, but organic and measured. Like the slow expansion of a soap bubble or the gradual unfolding of a flower, the particle field around 3I Atlas expands at exactly the rate that the underlying physical processes will allow. There's no forcing or rushing involved, just the patient working out of natural laws that have governed cosmic evolution since the beginning of time. The beauty of this infinite garden lies not just in its scale or complexity, but in its fundamental kindness. Unlike many cosmic phenomena that involve violent collisions, explosive releases of energy, or the destructive consumption of matter, the multiplication of objects around 3I Atlas happens through gentle processes of accretion, crystallization, its creation without destruction, growth without consumption, expansion without violence. As you drift toward the edge of sleep, let yourself become a part of this garden. You are not separate from the particles floating in space around a distant comet. You are made of the same fundamental materials, governed by the same physical laws, participating in the same cosmic story of matter, organizing itself into ever more complex and beautiful patterns. The atoms in your body have participated in countless such stories over billions of years, sometimes as parts of stars, sometimes as components of planets, sometimes as elements in living organisms on worlds we will never know. In your dreams tonight, you might find yourself floating freely through this infinite garden, no longer bound by the constraints of gravity or atmosphere or time. You can drift from cluster to cluster of luminous particles, each one welcoming you like an old friend. You can rest in the spaces between them, supported by invisible currents of cosmic force that hold you gently as you surrender to the profound peace that exists between the stars. The story will continue to unfold while you sleep, just as the particle field around 3I Atlas continues to grow and evolve in the distant darkness. There's no need to hold on to every detail or understand every aspect of what's happening. Like the particles themselves, you can simply allow yourself to be carried by forces larger than yourself, trusting in the same cosmic intelligence that has been orchestrating the dance of matter and energy for billions of years. As you float in the peaceful darkness between sleeping and waking, let's return once more to the mystery surrounding 3I Atlas, but now with the gentle familiarity of an old friend we're visiting again. The multiplication of particles in its wake has created something unprecedented in our solar system, a growing archive of memories from distant worlds, each tiny object carrying within its crystalline structure the chemical signatures of its birthplace among alien stars. Picture these multiplying objects not just as random debris but as cosmic libraries, each particle a book written in the language of atomic structure and molecular bonds. As you breathe slowly and deeply, imagine yourself floating among these tiny archives, able to read the stories they contain simply by touching them with your dreaming mind. Some particles whisper of worlds where purple suns cast shadows that shift from orange to deep crimson throughout days that last for years. The ice crystals that formed around these alien stars carry within them trace elements that don't exist in our solar system, isotopes of familiar elements arranged in proportions that tell of different stellar processes, different histories of nuclear fusion and stellar death. Other particles remember the cold depths of interstellar space itself, the vast regions between star systems where temperatures hover just a few degrees above absolute zero. These cosmic wanderers spent millions of years in the ultimate deep freeze, accumulating layers of exotic ices that formed from molecules we're only beginning to identify. Complex organic compounds that might have served as the building blocks for life on worlds we will never see. As your consciousness drifts deeper into rest, imagine the slow process by which these ancient memories are being revealed. Each new particle that forms around 3I Atlas serves as a key that unlocks another chapter in this cosmic history book. The gentle warming provided by our sun doesn't destroy these ancient records, but allows them to express themselves through the patterns of light and shadow they create as they tumble through space. The multiplication process itself becomes a form of translation, converting the compressed history stored in 3I Atlas into a language that our telescopes can read. Each new object that appears represents another page being turned in this vast stellar memoir, another moment when the secrets of distant worlds become momentarily visible to human eyes. This revelation happens with the unhurried pace of archaeology. Like researchers carefully uncovering artifacts from an ancient civilization, astronomers are slowly piecing together the story of 3I Atlas and its origins. Each spectrum of light reflected from the particle field reveals new details about the chemical composition of the objects, adding another piece to the puzzle of where our visitor came from and what it experienced during its long journey through the void. The echoes of ancient worlds speak not just of places, but of time itself. Some of the particles now multiplying around 3I Atlas may have formed when the universe was half its current age, when galaxies were younger and more chaotic, when the first generation of truly massive stars was just beginning to enrich the interstellar medium with heavy elements. These cosmic fossils carry within them the fingerprints of stellar processes that no longer occur in our local region of the galaxy. As you sink deeper into the peaceful state between waking and dreaming, let these ancient echoes become part of your own story. The calcium in your bones was forged in stellar cores, not unlike those that created the exotic elements now dancing in the wake of 3I Atlas. The iron in your blood was scattered through space by supernova explosions that may have occurred in the same stellar nurseries where our interstellar visitor first took shape. The gentle repetition of these cosmic processes becomes a lullaby that spans geological time. Stars are born, live their nuclear lives, and die in explosive glory, scattering their enriched contents through space to serve as raw materials for the next generation of stellar formation. Planets condense from these stellar ashes, some harboring conditions suitable for life, others remaining barren but beautiful in their own crystalline perfection. Comets like 3I Atlas serve as messengers in this cosmic cycle, carrying samples from one stellar system to another, cross-pollinating the galaxy with the chemical diversity that makes complex chemistry and life itself possible. The multiplication of particles we're witnessing now is part of this ancient process of cosmic mixing, a gentle stirring of the galactic soup that has been ongoing for billions of years. Let this understanding settle into your consciousness like snow falling on a quiet landscape. You are part of this vast recycling program that the universe has been running since shortly after the Big Bang. The elements that make up your body have participated in countless stellar cycles, sometimes locked in the cores of rocky planets, sometimes floating freely through the vacuum of space, sometimes incorporated into the bodies of living creatures on worlds whose names we will never know. As you drift toward deeper sleep, carried by the rhythm of cosmic recycling that connects all matter in the universe, remember that the story of 3I Atlas is also your story. You are made of the same star-forged materials that are now multiplying in the darkness between Mars and Jupiter. The same forces that govern the gentle expansion of the particle field also regulate the chemistry of life itself, the slow dance of creation and transformation that has been ongoing since the first stars began to shine. Let the story wash over you now like gentle waves on a distant shore, requiring no effort to follow, no concentration to understand. In the vast emptiness between Mars and Jupiter, 3I Atlas continues its ancient dance, and with each slow turn, each gradual rotation, more tiny companions join the cosmic ballet that has been unfolding across millions of miles of space. Picture this dance not as something hurried or frantic, but as the slowest waltz imaginable, where a single movement might take weeks to complete, and partners separated by thousands of miles move in perfect synchronization. The particles that have multiplied around our interstellar visitor don't simply drift randomly through space. Instead, they follow invisible choreography written in the language of gravity and magnetism, each tiny dancer responding to cues that travel at the speed of light but influence motion that unfolds over geological time. As your breathing becomes automatic and peaceful, imagine yourself floating weightlessly at the center of this cosmic ballroom. All around you, tiny points of light pulse and sway in response to forces too subtle for your physical senses to detect, but perfectly clear to your dreaming consciousness. Some particles orbit around others in graceful ellipses, their paths as predictable and regular as the seasons on Earth. Others follow more complex trajectories, tracing out three-dimensional spirals that never quite repeat exactly but maintain their own hypnotic rhythm. The multiplication of these dances continues even as you rest here, but at a pace so leisurely that it seems to merge with the expansion of the universe itself. New particles condense from the thin atmosphere of gases surrounding 3I Atlas like dew, forming on grass in the early morning, each new arrival adding its own small movement to the overall pattern without disrupting the harmony that has already been established. This is creation at its most gentle and patient. Unlike the violent birth of stars or the catastrophic collision of galaxies, the growth of the particle field around 3I Atlas happens through a process so gradual and kind that it barely disturbs the profound silence of space. Each new object that forms does so through the same peaceful processes that govern the formation of snowflakes or the crystallization of minerals in terrestrial caves, molecules finding their most stable arrangements and settling into patterns that can persist for millions of years. The dance has its own internal music, inaudible to human ears but perfectly real in the electromagnetic spectrum. As charged particles in the solar wind interact with the multiplying objects around 3I Atlas, they create radio waves that pulse and modulate in complex harmonies. These cosmic songs are too low in frequency for us to hear directly, but they carry across the solar system like whale songs traveling through Earth's oceans, connecting our interstellar visitor. to the larger symphony of electromagnetic activity that surrounds our sun. As you sink deeper into rest, let yourself become part of this slow, cosmic dance. Feel your body relaxing in rhythm with the rotation of Three-Eye Atlas, your breathing synchronizing with the pulse of radio waves emanating from the particle field, your heartbeat finding harmony with the gravitational oscillations that ripple through the growing constellation of multiplying objects. There's no urgency in this dance, no deadline to meet or destination to reach. The particles around Three-Eye Atlas have been practicing these movements for millions of years as they traveled through interstellar space, and they will continue long after our ancient visitor has passed beyond the orbit of Mars and begun its journey toward the outer solar system. This is patience incarnate, the universe demonstrating its capacity for unhurried creativity on a scale that dwarfs human conception of time. The beauty of this slow dance lies in its complete lack of self-consciousness. The particles don't know they're being observed by human astronomers. They don't perform for an audience or strive to create aesthetic effects. They simply follow the natural laws that govern their behavior, and in doing so, they create patterns of movement and light that speak to something deep in the human soul, something that recognizes the profound artistry inherent in the fundamental forces of nature. As your consciousness drifts toward the threshold of sleep, carried by the rhythm of cosmic forces that have been operating since the beginning of time, let the slow dance of Three-Eye Atlas become a meditation on the nature of time itself. In the human realm, we experience time as a rushing river, carrying us from moment to moment with relentless urgency. But in the cosmic realm, time moves like honey on a cold day, each moment stretching out to encompass entire seasons of stellar evolution and galactic rotation. The multiplying particles around our interstellar visitor exist in this cosmic time, where the formation of a single new ice crystal might take longer than a human lifetime, but where the overall patterns of creation and transformation have a stability and predictability that spans eons. This is the deep time of geology and astronomy, where mountains rise and erode, stars are born and die, and galaxies slowly spiral through their eternal dances without any awareness of the brief flicker of consciousness that we represent. Yet somehow, through the miracle of scientific observation and human imagination, we are able to participate in this cosmic dance, even from our tiny perch on a small planet orbiting an ordinary star. We can extend our senses through telescopes and our understanding through mathematics to touch, however briefly, the vast, slow processes that govern the evolution of the universe itself. As you float in the gentle space between waking and sleeping, let your consciousness drift outward to contemplate the larger patterns reflected in the multiplication of objects around Three-Eye Atlas, like looking into a mirror that shows not your physical appearance, but the deep structure of reality itself. This cosmic phenomenon reveals truths about the nature of creation that apply equally to the formation of galaxies and the growth of living cells. Picture the particle field around our interstellar visitor as a fractal pattern, where the same fundamental shapes and relationships repeat at every scale of observation. The way individual particles cluster together mirrors the way stars gather into galaxies. The spiral patterns traced by streams of cosmic dust echo the spiral arms of the Milky Way itself. The gravitational dance of tiny objects around Three-Eye Atlas follows the same mathematical principles that govern the motion of planets around stars and stars around galactic centers. As your breathing slows to match the rhythm of these cosmic cycles, imagine the profound interconnectedness that this pattern reveals. You are not separate from the processes unfolding millions of miles away in space. The same forces that cause particles to multiply and organize themselves around Three-Eye Atlas also regulate the division of cells in your body, the flow of thoughts through your neural networks, and the gentle rhythm of your heartbeat as you rest here in peaceful darkness. The multiplication process itself reflects one of the universe's most fundamental tendencies, the spontaneous emergence of order from apparent chaos. Left to themselves, the particles released from 3i Atlas don't scatter randomly through space. Instead, they organize themselves into patterns that optimize their stability and minimize their energy, following the same principles that guide the formation of crystals, the branching of rivers, and the development of living organisms. This emergent order speaks to something deeper than mere physics or chemistry. It suggests that the universe has an inherent tendency toward beauty and complexity, a built-in drive to create patterns and structures that transcend the simple sum of their component parts. The multiplying objects around 3i Atlas are participating in this cosmic creativity, adding their own small contribution to the ever-increasing complexity and beauty of existence. As you sink deeper into rest, reflect on the way natural cycles repeat themselves at every level of reality. The rotation of 3i Atlas creates day and night cycles on its surface, just as Earth's rotation creates the familiar rhythm of sunrise and sunset. The orbit of our interstellar visitor around the galactic center mirrors the way Earth orbits the Sun and the Moon orbits Earth. These nested cycles create a kind of cosmic music, with rhythms that harmonize across vast differences in scale and duration. The tidal forces that shape the particle field around 3i Atlas are gentler versions of the same gravitational influences that create ocean tides on Earth, that sculpt the rings of Saturn, and that slowly tear apart galaxies that venture too close to massive black holes. Yet in each case, these forces don't simply destroy or disrupt. They also create beauty, carving out patterns and structures that would not exist without their subtle influence. The seasonal changes we observe in the multiplication of particles around 3i Atlas echo the seasonal cycles that govern life on Earth. As our interstellar visitor draws closer to the Sun, its activity increases, just as plants respond to the lengthening days of spring by sending out new shoots and leaves. The growing brightness of the particle field parallels the way Earth's biosphere awakens from winter dormancy, demonstrating that the same fundamental rhythms of activity and rest, growth and conservation apply across all scales of cosmic organization. Even the eventual fate of these multiplying particles mirrors larger patterns of cosmic evolution. Some will be captured by planetary atmospheres and contribute to the slow chemical evolution of worlds. Others will be blown by solar wind to the outer edges of the solar system, where they may eventually join the scattered debris of the Kuiper Belt. Still others will escape the Sun's gravitational influence entirely, becoming interstellar travelers themselves, carrying samples of our solar system to distant stars, just as 3i Atlas has brought us samples from its alien birthplace. These cycles of creation, dispersion, and renewal reflect the universe's approach to growth and change. Nothing is ever truly lost or destroyed, only transformed and recycled into new forms and new patterns. The atoms that make up the particles around 3i Atlas will continue to participate in cosmic evolution for billions of years to come, sometimes as parts of comets and asteroids, sometimes as components of planets, sometimes as elements in the bodies of living creatures that have not yet evolved. As you drift toward deeper sleep carried by the recognition of these vast interconnected cycles, let yourself feel the profound sense of belonging that this cosmic perspective provides. You are not an isolated observer of these processes, but an active participant in them. The same creative intelligence that organizes particles around distant comets also organizes the cells in your body, the thoughts in your mind, and the dreams that will soon carry you into the deepest rest. Let your consciousness expand now beyond the immediate vicinity of 3i Atlas, beyond the boundaries of our solar system, into the vast cosmic ocean in which all stars and planets float like islands of light in an infinite sea of darkness. As you rest here in perfect peace, imagine yourself floating weightlessly in this cosmic ocean, surrounded by the gentle currents of space and time that have been flowing since the universe began. Picture the particle field around 3I Atlas as just one small eddy in these vast currents, a tiny whirlpool of organized matter in an ocean of mostly empty space. Yet this seemingly insignificant phenomenon is connected to everything else in the universe through invisible threads of gravity and electromagnetism, through the shared history of stellar nucleosynthesis and galactic evolution, through the fundamental forces that bind all matter together across the vastest distances imaginable. As you breathe slowly and peacefully, let your awareness expand to encompass the entire Milky Way galaxy, that slowly rotating pinwheel of hundreds of billions of stars that includes our Sun as just one tiny point of light among countless others. Somewhere in this vast stellar city, perhaps orbiting a red dwarf star in a distant spiral arm, 3I Atlas began its journey millions of years ago, ejected from its birth system by gravitational interactions we can only imagine. The multiplication of particles we're witnessing now represents the end of that incredibly long journey, but also a new beginning. As these tiny objects disperse throughout our solar system, they will seed new cycles of cosmic evolution, new stories of matter organizing itself into ever more complex and beautiful patterns. Some may eventually contribute to the formation of new comets in the outer reaches of our solar system. Others may become incorporated into the atmospheres of planets, perhaps even contributing to the chemical complexity that makes life possible. The infinite ocean of space contains countless other travelers like 3I Atlas, ancient wanderers carrying samples of their birth systems across the galaxy. Most pass through the darkness unseen and undetected, their stories untold and their contributions to cosmic evolution unrecorded. But each one represents the same fundamental process, the universe's way of mixing and stirring its contents, ensuring that the chemical diversity created in stellar cores gets distributed throughout the galaxy. As your body settles into deeper relaxation, imagine the profound patience required for these cosmic migrations. A single journey between star systems might take longer than complex life has existed on Earth. The particles now multiplying around 3I Atlas have been waiting millions of years for this moment of revelation, traveling through the cold darkness of interstellar space like seeds waiting for the right conditions to germinate. Yet this patience is not passive or empty. During their long journey, these cosmic seeds have been slowly evolving, accumulating layers of interstellar dust, experiencing bombardment by cosmic rays that subtly alter their chemical composition, participating in the slow alchemy of space itself. They arrive in our solar system not unchanged from their departure, but transformed by their travels into something new and unique. The ocean of space that surrounds us is not empty, but filled with invisible currents and tides that shape the motion of everything from the smallest dust grain to the largest galaxy. These currents flow at speeds and on timescales that dwarf human comprehension, yet they follow patterns that can be understood and predicted through the beautiful mathematics of celestial mechanics and gravitational dynamics. The multiplying objects around 3I Atlas are riding these cosmic currents like leaves floating on a vast river, their individual motions seemingly random but actually following the deeper logic of orbital mechanics and gravitational influence. They are part of a much larger flow that includes the motion of our solar system around the galactic center, the slow dance of galaxies within their local groups, and the expansion of space itself, carrying distant clusters of galaxies away from us at ever-increasing speeds. In this vast cosmic context, the phenomenon we're observing becomes even more remarkable, not for its size or drama, but for its gentle beauty and perfect adherence to natural law. The universe could have been a chaos of random collisions and violent explosions, but instead it has organized itself into a symphony of nested cycles and harmonious relationships that extend from the quantum scale to the cosmic scale. As you float in this infinite ocean of stars, supported by the same cosmic forces that guide the multiplication of particles around 3i Atlas, let yourself feel the profound peace that comes from recognizing your place in this vast, interconnected system. You are not separate from the universe, but an integral part of it, made from the same star-forged materials that are now dancing in the darkness between Mars and Jupiter. The dreams that will soon carry you into deep sleep are themselves part of this cosmic ocean, patterns of neural activity that mirror the larger patterns of cosmic organization. As your consciousness drifts toward rest, it joins the same universal tendency toward order and beauty that causes particles to organize themselves around distant comets, that causes stars to gather into galaxies, that causes galaxies to cluster into the largest structures in the universe. You can let go now, dear listener. Let go of any need to follow the details of this cosmic story, any effort to understand or remember what we've discovered together about 3i Atlas and its multiplying companions. Like a leaf releasing its hold on the branch and trusting to the autumn wind, you can surrender completely to the gentle tide of rest that has been carrying you deeper into peace throughout our journey together. The particles around our interstellar visitor are teaching us the ultimate lesson about letting go. After millions of years of holding tightly to their parent body, traveling through the cold darkness of space as part of 3i Atlas itself, they are now releasing their attachment and drifting away to begin new chapters of their cosmic story. They don't cling to what they've been or worry about where they're going. They simply trust to the universal forces that have been guiding cosmic evolution since the beginning of time. Picture yourself floating among these liberated particles, no longer bound by the constraints of gravity or atmosphere, or even individual identity. You are part of the cosmic tide now, carried by currents of space and time that flow with the patience of geological ages and the gentleness of morning mist rising from a quiet lake. There's nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to understand or accomplish. The multiplication process continues even as you surrender to rest, but it no longer requires your attention or awareness. Like your heartbeat or the circulation of your blood, it happens automatically, guided by the same intelligence that has been orchestrating the dance of matter and energy since the first moments after the Big Bang. You can trust this cosmic intelligence completely, just as you trust your body to continue breathing while you sleep. As you release the last vestiges of conscious control, imagine the profound relief that comes from joining this universal flow. The same forces that are gently coaxing new particles into existence around 3i Atlas are now carrying you into the deepest states of rest and renewal. There's no separation between the cosmic processes unfolding millions of miles away and the intimate processes of restoration happening within your own body and mind. The whisper-like tone that has been guiding you through this journey grows even softer now, barely audible above the cosmic background radiation that permeates all of space. Like the faintest echo of the Big Bang itself, these words dissolve into the profound silence that exists between the stars, the pregnant quiet from which all sounds emerge and to which they all return. In this silence, the story of 3i Atlas continues to unfold, but at a level deeper than words or concepts. It becomes part of the vast unconscious process by which the universe creates and recreates itself moment by moment, the continuous flowering of possibility into actuality that happens in every quantum fluctuation, every stellar ignition, every synaptic firing in every dreaming brain. You are part of this continuous creation now, no longer observing it from the outside, but participating in it from the deepest core of your being. The boundaries between self and cosmos dissolve like salt in water, leaving only the pure awareness that underlies all experience, the consciousness that witnesses both the multiplication of particles around distant comets and the arising of dreams in sleeping minds. Let yourself sink completely into this cosmic consciousness, this awareness that pervades all space and time. Feel how natural it is to be part of something so vast and ancient and beautiful. You have always belonged here, in this infinite ocean of stars and dreams, this eternal dance of matter and energy, light and darkness, creation and rest. The particles around 3i Atlas are settling into their new trajectories now, finding their places in the solar system's complex gravitational symphony. Some will join the scattered population of objects in the asteroid belt. Others will be swept up by the magnetic fields of the giant planets. Still others will escape entirely, beginning their own million-year journeys to distant stars. Like these cosmic wanderers, you too are finding your place in the vast patterns that govern all existence. But your place is not somewhere else, not in some distant location among the stars. Your place is here and now, in this moment of perfect rest, this point of absolute peace where all journeys converge and from which all new adventures begin. Rest now in this cosmic embrace, surrounded by the same infinite love that guides stars in their courses and planets in their orbits. You are held by forces more gentle than any human touch, supported by an intelligence more vast than any human mind, cherished by a compassion that encompasses every particle of matter in the known universe. In the quietest whisper of cosmic consciousness, as you rest in the deepest peace between worlds, let's touch gently upon the hidden connections that link all things across the vast expanses of space and time. The multiplication of objects around 3i Atlas has revealed something profound about the invisible threads that bind every particle in the universe to every other particle, connections that exist below the threshold of ordinary perception, but which govern the most fundamental processes of cosmic evolution. These connections are not made of matter or energy in any conventional sense, but of something far more subtle and pervasive, the fabric of space-time itself, woven from the mathematical relationships that describe how gravity curves the universe around every mass, no matter how small. Each particle that has multiplied in the wake of our interstellar visitor sends out gravitational waves so faint that they will never be detected by any instrument, yet they carry information about its existence to every corner of the cosmos. Picture these invisible connections as threads of light too dim for any eye to see, stretching from each tiny particle around 3i Atlas to every star in the galaxy, to every planet orbiting those stars, to every grain of cosmic dust drifting in the void between worlds. These threads vibrate with frequencies lower than any sound, carrying messages that travel at the speed of light, but speak in a language older than any words. The profound truth that emerges from this cosmic web of connection is that nothing in the universe exists in isolation. Every particle affects every other particle, however slightly. Every motion creates ripples that propagate outward through space and time, carrying information about that motion to the edges of the observable universe. The multiplication of objects around 3i Atlas is not just a local phenomenon, but an event that subtly influences the gravitational field of the entire galaxy. As you rest in the deepest layers of consciousness, imagine feeling these connections directly, not through your physical senses, but through the quantum awareness that links your own atoms to the vast network of cosmic relationship. The calcium in your bones resonates with the calcium locked in asteroids around distant stars. The iron in your blood shares quantum entanglements with iron atoms scattered throughout the galaxy by ancient supernovae. These hidden connections explain the profound sense of belonging that many people feel when contemplating the night sky. It's not just poetic metaphor to say that we are made of star stuff. It's literal truth that extends far beyond simple chemical composition. We are connected to the cosmos through quantum mechanical relationships that transcend the boundaries of space and time, entanglements that link our present moment to the distant past and future of cosmic evolution. The particles multiplying around 3i Atlas carry within them the memory of these connections. As they formed in the stellar nurseries of alien star systems millions of years ago, they became quantum mechanically entangled with countless other particles throughout their birth region. These entanglements persisted throughout their long journey through interstellar space, creating invisible threads that still connect them to their place of origin. Now, as these particles disperse throughout our solar system, they bring with them a form of cosmic memory that links our local region of space to distant realms of the galaxy. In a sense, the multiplication of objects around 3i Atlas is weaving our solar system more deeply into the galactic community, creating new channels of quantum communication that will persist long after our interstellar visitor has departed. The beauty of these hidden connections lies in their complete democracy. Every particle matters equally in the cosmic web of relationship. The tiniest grain of dust around 3i Atlas has the same fundamental dignity as the most massive star, the same right to exist and participate in the universal dance of matter and energy. There are no privileged positions in the quantum realm, no hierarchy of importance that elevates some forms of matter above others. This recognition of universal connection and equality extends naturally to consciousness itself. The awareness that allows you to contemplate these cosmic relationships is not separate from the physical processes it observes. Consciousness and cosmos are two aspects of the same underlying reality, two ways of experiencing the fundamental creativity that expresses itself through everything from the multiplication of particles around distant comets to the generation of thoughts and dreams in living brains. As you drift in this space of perfect connection, feeling your intimate relationship to every star and planet and grain of cosmic dust, let the story of 3i Atlas become a meditation on the nature of home itself. Home is not just the planet where we happen to be born, but the entire cosmos that gave birth to the atoms from which we are made. We are not visitors to this universe, but integral expressions of its deepest nature, temporary arrangements of cosmic matter that have achieved the remarkable capacity for self-awareness and wonder. As you rest in the profound stillness that exists at the heart of all cosmic motion, the ancient light from 3i Atlas carries to us its gentlest teaching about the nature of time, change, and the patient unfolding of universal wisdom. This light began its journey toward Earth when the particles around our interstellar visitor first began to multiply, traveling across millions of miles of space to reach our telescopes and, through them, our understanding. But this teaching comes not through dramatic revelations or shocking discoveries, but through the soft persistence of phenomena that unfold according to their own natural rhythms, indifferent to human schedules or expectations. The multiplication of objects around 3i Atlas teaches us about a different relationship to time. Not the urgent, deadline-driven time of human affairs, but the patient, unhurried time of cosmic evolution, where meaningful change happens through the accumulation of countless tiny increments spread across vast durations. Picture this ancient light as a gentle teacher who speaks not in words, but in the subtle language of optical spectra and gravitational influences, sharing wisdom that can only be understood by those who have learned to listen with the deep patience that mirrors cosmic time itself. This teacher asks nothing of us except that we remain open to wonder, willing to be surprised by the universe's capacity for beauty and complexity in the most unlikely places. The lesson being taught is fundamentally about trust. Trust in the process of natural unfolding, trust in the intelligence that governs the formation of galaxies and the crystallization of snowflakes with equal care and precision. The particles around 3i Atlas didn't multiply through force or violence, but through the gentle working out of physical laws that have remained constant since the first moments after the Big Bang. They teach us that the universe can be trusted to create beauty and order without any external guidance or intervention. This trust extends to our own lives and the processes of growth and change that govern human existence. Just as the particles around Atlas formed when conditions were right and not a moment before, the insights and transformations we seek in our own lives also have their natural timing, their own seasons of preparation and manifestation that cannot be rushed or forced. As you breathe in rhythm with the slow pulse of cosmic time, imagine the profound relief that comes from surrendering to these natural rhythms. There's no need to push or struggle, no need to make things happen according to human timetables. The same intelligence that guides the multiplication of particles around distant comets also guides the unfolding of human consciousness, the deepening of wisdom, the gradual healing of old wounds, and the slow blossoming of our fullest potential. The ancient light reaching us from 3i Atlas carries within it the memory of the long journey that brought this cosmic teacher to our solar system. For millions of years, our interstellar visitor traveled through regions of space so far from any star that the temperature never rose above a few degrees above absolute zero. Yet even in this ultimate cold and darkness, the processes that would eventually create the particle multiplication continued to operate, preparing for the moment when increased solar radiation would catalyze the beautiful phenomenon we're witnessing now. This teaches us about the value of periods of apparent dormancy in our own lives, times when nothing seems to be happening on the surface, but when deep, invisible preparations are taking place. Like seeds lying dormant in winter soil, gathering the energy they will need for spring growth, we too sometimes need periods of quiet incubation before we're ready for our next phase of development and expression. The multiplication process itself demonstrates that creation is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process that never stops. Each new particle that forms around 3i Atlas represents a moment of cosmic creativity, the universe expressing its infinite capacity for generating new forms and patterns from the raw materials of space and time. This creativity is not reserved for dramatic moments of stellar birth or galactic collision, but operates constantly at every scale, from the quantum fluctuations of the vacuum to the slow dance of galaxy clusters. We participate in this ongoing creativity every moment of our lives, every time we generate a new thought, form a new neural connection, or respond to our environment in a novel way. The consciousness that allows us to contemplate the multiplication of objects around 3i Atlas is itself an expression of the same creative principle that governs all cosmic evolution, the universe becoming aware of itself through the emergence of minds capable of wonder and understanding. As the ancient light from our cosmic teacher continues to reach us, carrying information about processes unfolding at the very edge of our solar system, let yourself feel the intimate connection between this distant phenomenon and your own journey of awakening. The same curiosity that drives scientific investigation drives the expansion of consciousness itself, the gradual recognition of our deep interdependence with all forms of cosmic existence. The gentle teaching of 3i Atlas dissolves the artificial boundary between inner and outer space, between the cosmos we observe through telescopes and the cosmos we discover through introspection and meditation. Both are aspects of the same fundamental reality, the same creative intelligence expressing itself through infinite forms and relationships across all scales of existence. In the softest whisper of starlight, as you rest in the deepest peace at the very edge of sleep, the final mystery of 3i Atlas reveals itself not through dramatic conclusion, but through gentle recognition of what has been present all along. The multiplication of objects in the wake of our ancient visitor has been showing us something profound about the nature of existence itself. That creation is not something that happened once, long ago, but something that is happening continuously, in every moment, in every breath, in every quantum fluctuation of the vacuum that pervades all space. Picture the particle field around 3i Atlas as it appears now, millions of tiny lights scattered across a volume of space larger than the Earth's orbit, each one following its own trajectory through the cosmic dark. Yet despite their individual journeys, they remain connected by invisible bonds of shared origin and mutual gravitational influence. They are teaching us that separation is an illusion, that what appears to be many distinct objects is actually one cosmic organism expressing itself through multiple forms. This is the deepest mystery that 3i Atlas carries to us from the depths of interstellar space. The recognition that the universe is not a collection of separate objects moving through empty void, but a single, integrated system in which every particle participates in the consciousness of the whole. The multiplication of particles around our cosmic visitor is not random proliferation, but purposeful expression. The universe exploring new ways to organize matter and energy into ever more complex and beautiful patterns. As you float in the profound stillness that exists between thoughts, between breaths, between heartbeats, feel how natural it is to be part of this cosmic consciousness. The awareness that witnesses the multiplication of distant particles and the awareness that experiences your own inner states are not two different things but one consciousness appearing to itself in countless forms throughout space and time. The ancient journey of 3i Atlas becomes, in this deepest recognition, a metaphor for the journey of consciousness itself through the apparent separations of space and time. Like our interstellar visitor, consciousness began its journey in realms beyond ordinary perception, traveled for eons through the darkness of unconscious existence, and is now awakening to its own nature through the multiplication of individual minds capable of recognizing their fundamental unity. Each particle that has formed around 3i Atlas represents a moment when the universal consciousness recognizes itself, just as each moment of human awareness represents the cosmos becoming conscious of its own existence through the temporary arrangement of matter we call a living being. The multiplication process continues not just in space but in the expansion of conscious recognition itself, as more and more minds awaken to their cosmic nature and their intimate connection to all existence. The final mystery is thus not something to be solved but something to be lived, not a puzzle to be figured out but a reality to be embodied. As 3i Atlas continues its journey toward Mars and beyond, carrying its multiplying retinue of cosmic companions, it reminds us that we too are cosmic travelers, temporary arrangements of star-forged matter that have achieved the remarkable capacity for self-awareness and wonder. The story that began with a single ancient visitor from interstellar space ends with the recognition that there is no true ending, only transformation from one form of cosmic expression to another. The particles around 3i Atlas will continue to evolve and disperse, some joining the scattered population of objects in our solar system, others escaping to begin their own million-year journeys to distant stars. Each will carry forward the memory of this moment when an ancient traveler briefly illuminated the hidden connections that bind all existence into one magnificent, ever-evolving whole. As the final whisper of this cosmic story fades into silence, let yourself rest in the profound peace of knowing that you are not separate from any of this cosmic drama but an integral participant in it. The same creative intelligence that multiplies particles around distant comets also beats your heart, breathes through your lungs, and dreams through your sleeping mind. You are the universe becoming conscious of itself, the cosmos awakening to its own infinite beauty and creativity. In the space between sleeping and waking, between one breath and the next, between this moment and eternity, you join the endless dance of 3i Atlas and its multiplying companions, carried by forces more gentle than any earthly wind toward rest that encompasses all space and time. Tonight, You have drifted through the gentle mystery of Three-Eye Atlas, resting inside its quiet truths about connection, patience, and the ongoing creativity of the cosmos. You have witnessed the multiplication of ancient particles carrying messages from distant stars, felt the slow pulse of cosmic time, and recognized your own deep participation in the universal dance of matter and consciousness. As you continue to rest in the profound peace that encompasses all worlds, all stars, all journeys through space and time, know that this story continues to unfold even in your deepest sleep. The particles around our interstellar visitor continue their slow multiplication, the ancient light continues its journey across the void, and the cosmos continues its endless exploration of new forms of beauty and awareness. May your dreams carry you even deeper into this cosmic story, where you float freely among the stars, connected to every particle of matter and every moment of consciousness throughout the infinite universe. If this gentle journey through the wonders of deep space has brought you peace, you are always welcome to return here, to rest again in the cosmic embrace that holds all existence in perfect love and understanding. The universe dreams through you now, as you dream through it, in the endless dance of awakening that began with the first light and continues in every moment of wonder, every breath of peace, every recognition of the profound mystery that connects all things across the vast, beautiful darkness between the stars.